If there's one thing that I can tell you that I see that all businesses that are not successful have in common is the following. They don't have systems and processes in place that every single person follows every single day, no matter what. As a really successful business owner once told me, people have bad days, systems and processes don't. Stay until the end with me and you'll find out what I'm talking about here. My name is Andrew Pizzi. I'm an investor and entrepreneur out of Las Vegas, and I want to welcome you to the AP Show, where our goal is to build a great life around health, wealth, love, and happiness, which I believe are all needed in order for you to have a great life overall and not just in one specific area. There's one favor that I have to ask from you, and it's for you to hit the like button. It's actually very important for the YouTube algorithm, and so it is for me, because I want to get to help as many people as possible succeed in business. And I promise you that what we're talking about here makes that way more possible. So before we jump onto the importance of having systems in place, I want to define what systems and processes are, or what I mean by those words. Because when people hear systems, they tend to think about a computer or a software or things like that, which is not the case here. So hear me out. When you think about it, there are two ways of executing a goal whenever you have one. The first one is to set the goal and start working towards it without a clear path on how you're going to make it a reality, which is the path that most people take. The second one is the path that most successful business owners take, and that's the path that I choose to take, which is to have a clear path and a clear set of tasks and things that you need to do in order for that goal to become a reality. Let's go deeper on that for a second. Everything that you do can be broken down into smaller steps. Every single thing. Most people want to achieve goals, but they don't have a clear path or a set of tasks that they have to get done in order for them to achieve that goal. In fact, that's the reason why most people think that in order for you to open a business, all you need to have is the capital to open up the single location. And let me tell you, there's nothing I've heard in my entire life that is more false than that. Okay? When you open a business or when you have a goal, you need to know exactly what you need to do to achieve that goal, break it down into smaller steps, when you need to do those steps, how to do those steps, but most importantly, why it is that you need to do those things, because that's going to keep the motivation going even when you don't want to do those steps, because you know they're necessary for you to achieve that goal and why they're necessary. And that's a system. It tells you exactly what you need to do, when, how, and why, and it takes your goal from 0 to 100. But also, another huge advantage of having a system in place is that whenever you hire somebody into your company, or even if you're not the owner, whenever somebody comes on board, you're going to have a system so clear that it's going to take you 10 times less to train that new person into your company. When I'm telling you that it takes you 10 times less to train somebody when you have a system versus not having one, it's a no-brainer to have it. Now, I can tell you from my own personal experience in my insurance company that the difference from when we started without any systems to now has been beyond incredible. It's even much less frustrating when you know exactly what you need to do and what you need to have that new person do. Plus, think about how hard it is to keep performing at a high level when you're having a bad day. When you're having a rough day, you might have the discipline to stay focused and still perform. I have that discipline, but for most people, if they're having a rough day at home or any other area of their life, I promise you that will ruin their performance at work. So that's why I'm saying that whether you're a business owner or a person who just wants to perform under any circumstances, no matter what, you need to have a system in place. As I mentioned before, somebody told me once, systems will never have bad days, people will. If you have a system and you have a set of tasks that you create and you follow every single day, it won't matter that whole much whether you're having a good day or a bad day. You just perform. Just to put it in perspective, it used to take me in my insurance company about 90 days to train somebody and get him ready whenever we brought somebody new on board. It used to take us that long because we didn't have a system or a process. We were just training the person and figuring things out along the way as we went. We have about 125 different insurance products in my company, and so you can imagine how long it would take for somebody to become an expert at all those products if you don't have a system. Whereas now, we have created a training system for every new team member that has different checklists and videos, trainings, role plays, and different set of tasks that they have to complete in a specific amount of time. And that has brought our training time from 90 days to 30 days only for them to be ready to go and knowledgeable in every single product that we offer. We were only able to achieve that goal because we created a system that every single person follows and that is easy to understand. Now, you might be asking yourself, how in the heck do I create a system? Or how do I even know what type of system do I need to put in place for the goal that I'm trying to achieve? And that's a question that only you can answer. But what we're going to do today is I'm going to give you one of the goals that we have in our insurance company and how we created a system to accomplish that goal. And then two, how to create a generic system that tends to work in any industry or any goal that you have. By the way, if you need any type of insurance, give my team a call at 702-830-4997. Before I give you the generic way to create a system that works for really anything that you're trying to accomplish, I want to give you mine because I want you to understand where I'm coming from with this. As I previously said, this allowed my team to go from 150 apps a month to 300 apps a month. So we doubled the results with the same amount of team in our office. That also allowed us to finish number one as the highest producing agency in our territory for 2022. Now, our goal was to write 180 auto policies a month, 80 home policies a month, 30 life policies, and 10 health policies every single month. You can think of it two ways. You can go and say that's a lot of applications because you don't know how you're going to get there, or you can create a system and break down the steps and create exactly what you need to do instead of only looking at the total number of policies. And that, the second one, is a way easier and better way to look at things. The system has two parts, and they're as follows. Part number one is taking the 300 apps that you want to do in a month, divide them by the 22 working days as average that a month has, and then going, okay, 22 working days, we're trying to do 300 apps. That's only 75 apps a week, 14 apps a day, and 5 team members that we have in our office. So you take 14 apps a day divided by 5 team members, and that gives you 2.8 apps per team member per day. And that already makes it seem way more achievable than saying, hey, we need to do 300 apps in a month versus saying, hey, can we do 2.8 apps a day per team member? Now, the second part of the system is to figure out exactly how you're going to achieve the goal of 300 apps a month. Let's take auto apps, for example. If we're trying to do 180 auto apps in a month, but we know that each family has on average 2 vehicles, then we only need to find 90 families in a month, which translates to about 22 families in a week or 4 families in a day. From there, we need to figure out how many quotes we need to do in order for us to close those 4 families a day. Then you need to figure out how many calls you need to make each day in order for you to have the volume of prospects that you need in order for you to achieve your goal. So for example, if you already know that you're going to get 2 out of those 4 families a day out of referrals, 1 out of a networking event, and another 1 out of inbound calls from people that just call your office from the marketing that you do, you're going to feel way better by knowing exactly how you're going to close those 4 families a day versus just hoping that you do. So it works exactly the same regardless on what business or industry you're in. What you need to do though is you need to sit down to create a system that has executable steps for your team or even for yourself, and then set a realistic set of tasks that you know for a fact are going to get you to that goal. There's one thing about knowing exactly what you need to do and having the confidence that you will achieve the goal versus just thinking, this is my goal and we'll be happy with whatever result we get. That's the difference between having a system or not. With that being said, thank you so much for watching, and as always, feel free to add me on Instagram, and please hit the like button and share with other people if you found value on this content. As always, take care everybody.